Hello and welcome to It Takes a Viking, Salem State's Alumni and Friends podcast. I have the fabulous Theresa Melito-Conners with me today. And Theresa is an alum of Salem State's master's program in school counseling. And we are thrilled to have her with us today. We're gonna talk about all things self-care and hear a little bit about her journey with it. And she's gonna give us some tips and tricks, and I'm looking forward to it. So welcome, Theresa.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Thank you for being here. So I just wanted to just kind of jump into it, I guess, start us off by asking you to give us a little bit of your background. Tell us a little about yourself and your journey so far.
All right, sounds good. So as you already mentioned, I'm Theresa Melito-Conners, or Dr. MC, and I love Salem State University. It's a very important part of my journey. So it's exciting to be back here. I've been actually presenting for the Alumni Association a few times now. I think we've done 3 sessions and we got 2 more on deck. So that's exciting. We'll talk more about those in a bit, but a little bit more about me. Let's see. I have a really strong performing arts background. I've been dancing since I was about 3 years old. I have professional theater and film credits to my name and a lot of choreography experience, which is kind of fun. But that wasn't really what I wanted to make my career out of. Oh, let me rephrase. I wanted to make my career out of it at one point, but the lifestyle wasn't stable enough. So as I was traveling back and forth to New York and auditioning and working on films in Boston, I found myself working in education as an assistant in the METCO office. And if folks don't know what METCO is, that's the Metropolitan Council for Educational Opportunity program that is in some of our school districts in the Commonwealth. And I loved it. And, I had all this performing arts experience. I'm an undergrad from Emerson, but I just kept getting pulled into working in education. So I realized that the work in the METCO office that I was doing was very closely related to that of a school counselor. So that actually inspired me to go earn my master's at Salem State. And I graduated in 2011, the master's in school counseling. And I was immediately hired at a therapeutic high school in Massachusetts, working with kiddos with really significant mental health challenges, early onset psychosis, eating disorders, anxiety, depression, all sorts of challenges, but I loved it. And it was around then that I realized, though, how important self-care is. Folks are realizing now, I feel like every day people realize more and more how important self-care is. But that was really my first time where I really realized, I need to start taking care of myself in this job, especially, or I was going on a fast track to burnout. So as I progressed through my career, I always had it in the back of my mind that I wanted to earn a doctorate. So when that time came along, I did attend Lesley University. I was kind of trying to hold out for Salem State to get doctorates on their menu of offerings once they were turned to a university, but that hasn't happened yet. So I did have to seek schooling elsewhere. I went to Lesley in their ed leadership program. And my main area of scholarship is self-care and renewal for leaders and teachers, because I realized from those early days where I thought it was just something I was experiencing and something unique to me, that I was feeling stressed and burnt out in this intense job that I was working. I realized that it was actually something that a lot of people need help with. And so inspired by that, I launched my side business, which is Dr. MC's Self-Care Cabaret, which, if you've been listening and paying attention, does play off of my theater background and all of the other experiences that I bring with me. And so that's been fun. I blog, I podcast, I present at cool places like Salem State and other places around the Commonwealth, sharing my expertise. And I am also a public school administrator in the greater Boston area for special education. So busy. I think that gives you a little bit of an intro.
That's great. Thank you so much. I love how you mentioned that, your struggle with self-care was unique to you, but you quickly realized that, nope, it's not. And I think that is an issue that a lot of people struggle with is, when you're going through a self-care crisis or whatever you want to call it, it's easy to forget that a lot of other people are feeling similar.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And there's so many misconceptions around self-care, what it really is. And the more I did my own self-exploration and then dug into the research, it was clear to me that I needed to share this expertise with other people.
Yeah, that's great. That's fantastic. Can you talk a little bit more about, just kind of dive a little bit deeper into how the importance that SSU, like the role that Salem State has played in your journey?
Yeah,
You mentioned, you went into a little bit, I know, but
a little bit, but yeah, I'd love to share more because actually I'm a bit of a legacy at Salem State, but not necessarily in a traditional way. So my mom, who's my best friend and my biggest supporter and cheerleader in life, she went back to school with I think she had one class worth of credits to start at 39 years old to earn her undergraduate degree. And I was a sophomore in high school at the time. And I was first generation college student, I guess, heading in that trajectory, because my mom didn't have a degree. My father actually didn't finish high school. This was a new arena. So I'll just jump and say that I think it's kind of fascinating that I managed to earn a PhD coming from, necessarily, immigrant background with, I was born here, but my mom's first generation immigrant. And so anyway, okay. So my mom went back when I was a sophomore in high school to earn her degree. She managed to work full time, take care of me full time, and earn a bachelor's degree from Salem State University. But what would happen, because I used to like hanging out with my mom after school if I wasn't dancing or didn't have rehearsal, is she would actually take me with her out to Salem State. So as a sophomore in high school, I kind of thought I was the cool kid on the campus, getting to hang out on the Salem State campus. And some of her professors really welcomed the perspective of a current high school student in their class and would use that, since they were learning about classes about the American high school. So why not have a real life high school student right there in front of you? So some really embraced it. And I was totally fine if it wasn't welcome to be in the classroom and I could hang out, in the other more common areas. I just thought it was cool. And it was a great introduction to me to college life, not only watching my mom go through it, but also, getting to be on a campus and meeting different people in the different offices and whatnot. And she did graduate and then went on to earn a master's also from Salem State. And actually just retired after 32 years teaching in Melrose Public Schools. So kind of fun. So Salem State is very special to me.
Yeah, definitely. I love it. Multi-generation school for sure. My dad's a alum and I'm an alum as well. So
go Vikings.
I know. That's great. Can you tell us a little bit about what the true meaning of self-care is for you?
Yeah, so I hinted a little bit about there being a lot of misconceptions around self-care. And what tends to happen is people feel selfish or that it's a luxury when we put our needs first. But really, when we think about self-care, it is the daily, consistent, foundational way that you take care of yourself so you show up as the best you possible. And a lot more goes into that than just like an occasional mani-pedi and a bubble bath. Like that can definitely be part of it, but it's really much more than that. It gets into how you feed your body, how you like to soothe, how you manage your stress, how you practice mindfulness, how you rest, how you move your body, the relationships you have, the boundaries that you set, your environment, how you just see yourself in the world, and how you practice self-compassion and care for your physical body. Like there's a lot. It's far more complicated than mani-pedis.
Yeah, definitely. No, I can hear that. And I love that you like kind of break it down into it's a daily practice, because that makes it, because when you really think about the whole encompassing of self-care, it is a lot. And it could be overwhelming to think about and be like, oh, I have so much to do. I don't have time for self-care too. But then when you think about the daily practice and what little things you can do, like you were saying, I think that it makes it really just manageable and to take in like bite-sized pieces.
Absolutely. And I like to even think about my routine like over the course of a week, Because if you start to think about like having to do like all those things I mentioned, all those different domain areas, it's hard to work a full-time job or be a student and hit all of those every single day. But over the course of a week, you can really look at, but you're doing something like daily to make sure you're keeping up with it. But it's foundational. It's how you build your foundation so you can be a healthy, happy, productive member of society. But you can also, a couple of times a week, make sure you move in your body in ways that feel joyful. Make sure you're getting good sleep. Make sure maybe you want to journal, or maybe you meditate for short periods of time. And people tend to feel like, if we can't do, things for really long time, like we can't meditate for 45 minutes. Well, why bother? Or we can't exercise, hardcore at the gym. Like, why bother? It's like, no. Little things actually make a big difference, and little habits or short bursts of different things. Maybe a 5-minute dance party is my like number one go-to to get myself pumped up and move and feel good in my body. But also, even 1-minute meditations. On my podcast recently, we were talking with one of my friends who was on as being interviewed. And she talked about 1-minute meditations, taking 60 seconds in the morning to just breathe before jumping out of bed and starting the day. Just that little bit of an intentional pause has made a big difference in her well-being.
Definitely. It does. And I notice it in my own life too, when I take the time versus when I don't. Definitely notice.
It makes a big difference. And we tend to, this is the first stuff that we ignore. We're like, I don't have time for that today. I'll just do that tomorrow. I don't have time for self-care. I don't have time. But it doesn't have to take epic amounts of time. And really, it's what should come first before everything else. But society is not set up that way, right? Society doesn't celebrate us for taking care of ourselves. As a matter of fact, the opposite is true in a lot of situations where we act like if we're busy, that's some badge of honor, or if we're burning the candle at both ends or pulling all-nighters. Like, these are things that we working all weekend. Like, these are things that we get celebrated for, and we have to stop that. Quite frankly, got to stop that.
I know, it's so true. All American work ethic thing, right?
Brutal.
But you got to balance it, though. It's important for sure. You talk about you mentioned the domains of self-care. I know it's not something that we can really get into in the podcast, because you get really in depth in your webinars into it. But can you touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's 10 domains, and this actually comes from Catherine Cook-Cotton's research that I have adopted and kind of used to frame a lot of my work, because I think it's really important to break it down. So I've mentioned most of them. Let's see if I can do them again. So we have nutrition and hydration, exercise, self-soothing strategies. So that's like your deep breathing, stuff like that. Self-awareness and mindfulness, relationships, rest, your physical medical domain, so caring for your physical body, environmental, so that's all the spaces you inhabit in the world, self-compassion, and spiritual. Look at that. I did all 10.
Okay.
And then, of course, you go much deep into that. And there's a way to assess kind of your strengths and weaknesses. I mean, folks may already be hearing this and know, like, oh boy, I definitely suffer in the rest domain, as most folks suffer in that one. But, everyone has areas of strengths and weakness, and that's okay. It just gives you a starting point.
Definitely. Yeah, that's great. Thank you. Wondering if you wanted to lead us in a grounding exercise, just a brief one, to give us sort of an example of what you mean by, we can take it in little pieces and and fit it into your life. It's something you can fit into your life, and it's something that we can do that is so important. And I love it too.
Absolutely. So I think I'm going to share just like a quick body check-in. And if you've done like meditations before, maybe you've done a body scan meditation, those are much more in depth. This is really quick. And I share this because we tend to just be so disconnected from our body. Your body is actually really smart and knows exactly what to do to keep you functioning. And we tend to think we know more than our body. And so we abuse it, and we don't feed it from a place of love. We don't listen and honor our hunger and our fullness, or even our thirst levels, and we don't hydrate properly because we take it for granted. Like you wouldn't do to your car. When your car has a check engine light, what do? You go to the mechanic, hopefully, or when your gas light's on, you go get gas. You don't just keep running and running. That's not going to work. It doesn't really work for our bodies either, yet that's what we do. So
we had those check engine lights for ourselves. That would be nice, wouldn't it?
that would actually be really helpful. But one of my favorite quotes to share, and it's not mine, and I don't actually know who it's attributed to. I've been unable to find for certain, but it's something like, if you listen to your body when it whispers, you won't have to hear it scream. Ooh, yikes. That always like, I have to remind myself of that sometimes, when you get those little areas of, maybe discomfort in your body and you're like, all right, what is my body trying to tell me? We need to move back in to our bodies and our sensations, especially around eating and hydrating and sleep and just our stress level. And right now, everybody's nervous system is a little heightened as we continue to navigate the ongoing global pandemic. But I invite folks right now to just, if you're in a place where you can kind of sit quietly or stop what you're doing, to just feel yourself in this present moment and feel your feet firmly pressed on the ground beneath you. And you should be able to feel like all four corners of your feet pressing down, and feel your body supported by whatever it is that you're sitting on. And if it feels comfortable for you to close your eyes or lower your gaze, and I want you to just focus on your breathing. Don't try to change your breathing, but just focus on it. Are you breathing a little fast right now? Are you breathing through your mouth? What's going on? And now I'd like you to take a big deep breath in through the nose. I want you to fill your belly all the way. And let's take a nice long exhale. So in through the nose and a long exhale through the mouth. See if you can make your exhales longer than your inhales. That actually helps activate your parasympathetic nervous system, which can help quickly lower your stress hormone levels and activate your rest and digest response. So as you just breathe here gently, I want you to notice any sensations you're feeling in your body. Are you holding tension in your face? Can you let that go? How about your neck and shoulders? What else is your body telling you right now? Are you hungry? Are you thirsty? How are you feeling? Are you tired? Is there anything your gut is telling you that maybe you haven't been listening to or haven't checked in yet recently about? Just take another moment or two to scan your body and make note of anything you're feeling, any areas of dis-ease or discomfort. And let's take one last big deep breath in together. In through the nose and a nice long exhale. And when you're ready, can blink your eyes open. It's just I can see you already look so much more relaxed.
Thank you. That's great.
It only takes a minute. Just check in with yourself. So now the key is, though, if you discovered that you're thirsty or you're hungry or you need to use the bathroom or whatever it is you discovered during that, now you have to take action. So now you have to actually, give yourself what it needs. Give your body what it needs. Oh, a great segue to take a water break.
No, that was great. I have to remember that when my kids are driving me crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it just takes a minute. You can put a little reminder if you don't regularly do that. Maybe put a sticky note on your mirror in your bathroom or set a calendar alert. on your phone or computer to remind you, check in. It only takes a minute.
Thank you so much for that. I get my own personal grounding session with the Dr. MC. And I hope our viewers as well, of course. Well, thank you. Let's just let everybody know what you got coming up. We have a few exciting events coming up that you're leading actually in the next few weeks. We have you've got an Instagram takeover on our alumni Instagram page on February 22nd.
I'm pumped about that. I'm already thinking about all the things I'm going to plan. I'll probably lead a guided meditation. We'll probably do some other check-in type exercises. I'll share more about the domains of self-care. I'm actually on vacation that day, so you never know. Well, I should say a staycation, but I will be around and we'll see. Maybe I'll head out to Salem and visit a couple of my favorite places, and we'll show that on the takeover as well. I'm definitely looking forward to that.
That's great. I love it. And then on, let's see, Thursday, March 3rd and Thursday, April 7th, you've got the parts 3 and 4 of your 4-part self-care webinar series that we're doing.
Yeah.
Looking forward to those. And if anyone is watching, is interested in those, I will make sure that we drop the registration link in wherever it is that it goes here.
Yeah, no, those will be great. I always have, so the 4-part series is Dr. MC's Owning It series, which I put together for Salem State. And I think parts 1 and 2 are available for folks if they wanted to watch them in the replay. So the first one really gives you a deep dive into the 10 domains of self-care. I think we go through and assess the assessment I was talking about. The second one, we looked at the intersection of trauma, resilience, and self-care. This third one, we're going to be examining bias and microaggressions. There's always a through line of self-care, though. Don't be fooled. So we'll talk about that. And the fourth one is really getting into our mindset and how we talk to ourselves and about ourselves, and growth versus fixed mindset. So kind of all together, the 4-part series really helps us show up as good people in the world, I think.
I love it. Thank you so much for being here with us today, Theresa.
Thank you. Yeah, and if folks want to find me or follow me, I'm on Instagram pretty actively at Dr. MC Self-Care, or my website, drmcselfcare.com. I do host a bi-weekly podcast, which is more conversations about self-care, and a bi-weekly blog, all the things. And I recently had an interview with Nike, so I can be heard on the Nike Trained podcast, which is kind of fun. Yeah, so I hope to connect with other students and alumni. I think that would be awesome.
That is fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for watching.